is really meant to strengthen our position in the premium segment, and that will be proven by the cars, and I hope when you come back that you absolutely are in line with us in that statement. So let's talk a bit about the fantastic cars and details around this 90 series. It is and always starts with our fantastic setup when it comes to our technology. I think you have all seen that probably more than once, but still forgive me for repeating it one more time because it's so important. It is actually a setup which is decided in a time where people thought that 6 cylinders and 8 cylinders were the technology of the future, and we completely moved away from that, cut all the strings towards our former parents, and decided to do a complete new technology setup. With two architectures, it's SPA and it's CMA, which we launched a couple of weeks ago. And it is also hinged around one engine family. It's a 4-cylinder family with 3 cylinders. It is diesel and gasoline, all in one family, high degree of commonality, very flexible switch in between those two, whether it's diesel or gasoline, because all go over the same line. So we are really prepared for the future. And when we talk about future, then there's two topics where we as Volvo want to really be sticking out. That is autonomous drive and electrification. Why is that so important? Of course, autonomous drive is extremely important to help us to deliver on our future vision. In 2020, nobody should be seriously injured or be even killed in a new Volvo. This is only possible with the technology that we develop towards autonomous drive support systems, combined with a fantastic passive safety and electrification. There's a lot of talk whether we have changed our direction or not. We haven't. When we launched this architecture and CMA, we had always electrification in our mind. And both architectures are prepared for combustion engines as well as for plug-in hybrid in our twin engine strategy. But also, and that's absolutely unique, for battery electric vehicles. So all the combustion systems, the electrification setups can be realized in those two architectures, which is world first. Nobody else can deliver on that. And that makes us so flexible in our offer. So this scalable architecture is designed for vehicles from S60 up to an XC90, everything in between. This is also a bit different than most of our competitors. They put different branded cars, same size on architectures. We'll flip this upside down and do more different sizes of vehicles on the same architecture. From an S60 up to an XC90, everything which is below an S60 will then be based on our CMA architecture. This gives us fantastic modularity, this gives us economies of scale, this gives us efficiency in engineering, in verification, and of course in reuse of components. But it also gives us, and this is wherever it is, a proof of that, a fantastic proportion. And that is something which we had in mind very early when we designed this architecture. And it's one of the reasons also why we said 4 cylinders is enough, because it gives us this fantastic proportions, front overhang, and we call this measure center of wheel, wall of foot, or wheel to dash preview measure. And very important for the looks is the proportions of vehicles, and you not only see that on the XC90, but you see that also very much on S&V90 and on the 60s to really be coming. So this investment into the new technology, and it is a huge investment. We were talking about 75 billion SEK invested into this new technology, is really paying off. We have a fantastic reflection and reaction on our first car, the XC90. We have more than 90,000 orders at hand, and you might remember, a bit more than a year ago, we had a similar session when we launched this XC90 in Tarragona. One of my best friends from Switzerland and I had a bet ongoing, how many cars we're going to sell, and he was convinced that we're never going to sell more than 50,000. We sold the first half year more than 50,000, and now we have 90,000 orders, and he will have to pay me a very expensive ticket. So, and you know, I would not never finish this architectural part if I wouldn't have talked at least about, you know, the safety and the flexibility we have built into the electric architecture. Safety is in our genes, it is in our DNA and will always be there, and it is embedded in the architecture, with the electric architecture being capable of doing all these fantastic active safety things, and in the body and structure of the vehicle for if accidents really can't be prevented from happening, then having safety cage, etc. But I'm going to come back to that later in a little while. And when we talk architecture, we tend to forget a bit, you know, chassis tuning. And you know, for you might be so that you expect you know, a typical former boring Volvo chassis tuning, which you won't see absolutely never ever again after we have launched the XC90 with all the technology at hand to make the chassis the special Volvo way. And that does not mean boring at all. That means we have designed it in a way so it is relaxed confidence. And that's what it's really describing it very well. It's about predictability, controllability and comfort. That's what this chassis is about, and you will see that hopefully again when you come back with a big smile on your face and agree that this is really something where we're not chasing anybody, we're not copying anybody. We found our Volvo way, and this is the best chassis we've done, and there's more to come with every car we're going to launch. And what is enabling us to do this fantastic chassis? Of course the technology that is, you know, the most competitive. It is a double wishbone, which you've seen on the XC90. We now put it into the S90, and with that we have the fantastic controllability in our front suspension. And in the rear, you remember we have this integral rear link arm suspension, which has this spring leaf. It's a composite material spring leaf, one of our heritages actually from the past, which has so many benefits that we actually thought about that, brought it back into Spa, something again where Volvo does things different, but not only for this, not for the sake of being different, for a meaning. It's lighter, it has less intrusion into the compartment, and it doesn't lose its spring rate over time. So it's very, very competitive, and adds a lot of, you know, competitive advantages towards our vehicles. There's only one other car that is having this, and I don't want to talk about that. So, what we actually really have thought, developed, fine-tuned and delivered on is not an overly stiff chassis tuning, a chassis tuning that reflects the comfort, the luxurious, the relaxed afternoon driving in a fantastic sedan. And that is, again, we call it relaxed confidence, and it's the Volvo dynamic settings, driving settings, that we will continue to put under this umbrella of relaxed confidence. Yeah, and I guess I have already summarized that. Of course, this goes together, front and rear suspension, in making this state-of-the-art chassis tuning possible. We have invested a huge amount of money into a simulator, a very, very special simulator. There's only 3 of those in the world existing, so we didn't have to use a lot of hardware to get to the settings. We could do it almost, you know, in the virtual world, and then do a reconfirmation just by doing expeditions. And that is again nothing which we try to chase anybody with. It's our self-confidence saying this is the Volvo way, and we're so happy around that. Another area which we always have gone different ways and continue to go different ways, it's our Drive E engines and powertrains. And this D5, powered additionally to its normal settings and turbochargers, with a fantastic thing we call Power Pulse. And it actually gives the car the extra agility and a bit more speed in situations where you want to have it, and responsiveness. And this is by pushing compressed air into the system, which spins up the turbocharger before there is any exhaust pipe emissions that could do that. And with this little ingenious part, we can give that engine and that car so much more responsiveness. As you can see, we compare this with some of our competitors, and you see that it is very clear that in the speed from 0 to 60, which is the most of the acceleration you do in city driving, we have a clear advantage even over our competitors with those big 6 cylinders, 3 liter, which are gas guzzlers, which we are never going to see back in our cars again. So this is what the engines look like. I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. It is 320 horsepower. It's a combination of a turbocharger and a supercharger. The T5 goes to 245, is in front wheel and in 45, in two-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. It's automatic. We have a D5 with now 235 horsepower, and this beautiful power pulse, and a D4 with 190 horsepower. There will be more powertrain variants launched later, and of course we're going to launch this technology at T8 soon after we have delivered the first vehicles to the markets in the second half of the year. Again, the architecture enables us well to put a combustion engine and an electric motor and a battery into this architecture without any compromise on used space in the trunk or whatsoever. And this delivers a fantastic performance. 407 horsepower, 640 newton meters of torque, 44 grams of CO2. It is mind-blowing, and that is this no-guilt performance versus the same performance of a V8 with a lot of guilt. And the range we offer is around about 45 kilometers. We haven't yet fine-tuned it, so that's going to be in the ballpark of that range. Safety. If I haven't talked about safety, now is about time to really do that. And it is obviously one of the first thoughts we have when we design cars, architectures, anything in the car. And it is what is really important to protect is the question is in our mind. And it has always been, and it will always be the first thought. At S90&V90, they share much of the technology that we launched with the XC90. And this is the beauty of a modular and really scalable architecture, of course. And the XC90 has been praised very much for its safety. It has had highest scores in any of the tests, in Euro NCAP as well as any other tests around the world. And that is a proof of that is the safest SUV ever built. And we're going to have the same expectation, frankly speaking, on S90 as well. But very, very clear, we do not develop cars to get to high rankings in ratings. We develop cars for being the safest cars on Earth in real-life traffic. And that's what it is as a focus for us as a team. That is what makes us believe in our vision of 2020. Nobody should be seriously injured or even killed in a new Volvo. Ratings come almost, I shouldn't say for free, but it's almost a secondary target. So this is the safety structure. Again, combination of active and passive safety is what makes it the most safest vehicle. Everything in red is boron steel. It's 35% super ultra high strength steel we're using. The rest is a combination of different grades in steel and aluminum. And we believe very much in this, let's say, mixture of materials because it has a lot of advantages. It's very, very good for crush, so it delivers the safety aspects. It is light and it is cost efficient, so it's almost too good to be true, but that's really what it is. That is what we have chosen. Anybody can throw aluminum at everything, but really the combination of aluminum with boron steel and with other mixes is what we believe in. And of course, with all our simulation technologies and our advanced real tests in our safety center, we are proudly expecting that we deliver on our promise and our commitment towards real-life safety. So, on the active side, city safety is standard. It works a day and night and is now able to detect vehicles, pedestrians, cyclists, and even large animals. And it prepares the seatbelts and the brakes for impending collisions and automatic braking, which is activated if the driver doesn't respond in time. So it's a fully automated system, and you can always, at any time, overrule the system as the driver. So we have a long list of assist systems, and keeping actually a bigger and better support, developing a better support towards difficult situations, which one of all those situations is if people get tired, get run off road, as we're going to see a video shortly on that, then the system kicks in and helps. But we have also developed pilot assist to the next step. We launched pilot assist with the XC90 up to speeds of 30 kilometers in traffic jam situations. Now on S90 we standardize semi-autonomous drive up to the speed of 130 kilometers. It doesn't have to have a leading car anymore, and it is really the next step towards autonomous drive. But it is not autonomous drive, and I think don't be mistaken when you're driving this car. We will not go into this class 3 autonomous drive where people think that the car is capable of dealing with the situations and then have to jump in, be surprised, be under stress, and make driving rather, the opposite of safe, making it unsafe. This feature goes up to a speed of 130 kilometers. You are in charge. You are still in control of the vehicle. You have to have the hands on the wheel, and it's supporting you. And it's really, really nice and comfortable, and it's designed for commuting, and it works better on highways, and then down to actually city drive and into stop and go. But the system is semi-autonomous, not full autonomous. Please remember that. Large animal detection, of course, and I think I remember a number of 250,000 accidents with big moose, with big deers in the US. So it's one of those situations specifically in the dawn where you have difficult to deal with it. So run of road mitigation, you're getting tired, it is really boring drive, and then you start really to be a bit shaky on the road, and then the car detects where you are, pushes you back onto the road, and really makes sure that you don't get off the road and get into the ditch, because that is one of the severest accidents that can happen. The system helps by braking and really heavy steering to bring you back, and with that avoids you getting into the ditch. And if there is actually a situation where it can't be protecting you from getting off the road, the systems are prepared for the worst case and help you handle the car handle that crash. Semi-autonomous drive, you push it in from zero. Actually, you can drive in the traffic jams very comfortable and have speeds up to zero. And it is, we launched the first stage in the XC90. This is the second development phase, and there will be many, many more to come. Again, we are on our way towards autonomous drive, and we think this being so important because it is at the core of this brand. It's about safety. And of course, it also helps on the convenience side, it helps on the comfort, it helps on fuel efficiency and using the infrastructure better. But the foremost and most important thing here is really about supporting the driver in difficult situations and making driving much more safer and relaxed. Goes up to 130, if it has lanes, doesn't need a leading car. Pilot assist, again, just a reminder, when you drive, keep your eyes on the road, have your hand on the steering, and it's going to be a fantastic experience. But it's also broader than that. It's not a system, it's not an app, it's just the experience we have with sensors in our vehicles. And it's actually based around 5 distinctive elements. It's control and easy to use interface. It's clearly split between the center stack, the driver display, the steering wheel knobs, and the head-up display all have to work extremely seamlessly. And the further you get up into the windscreen, the more urgent information is you're going to get displayed, and the further you get down towards the center stack, the less urgent all the information and interaction is. But it's also about entertainment. Top of the range Powertrain with the most premium sound in automotive business, and it also combines system and range of entertainment apps such as Spotify, TuneIn and Pandora, and more to come. We're going to add more and more of these features and apps to our vehicles, and we're going to do that over the air. We don't have to have a physical connection. Connectivity, smartphone, you can use either the built-in SIM card, or you can use your own phone with that, your own SIM card. Apple CarPlay works in all our cars. We're heavily working on getting Android Auto finalized, so it will come soon. And it will make also service more convenient for you and the customers, because we have connected service booking. You can use the car as a connection towards your preferred dealer in just booking a service spot with your well-known technician, and with that, don't have to go through any other hassle. Interior design. Well, this is the most Scandinavian part of the design of the vehicle. Is really when it comes to our interior design. It's really so much hinged around this honesty, using materials that are natural, wood that you feel it's wood, you can smell that the leather is like leather, and it's a blend of serenity, functionality, high quality materials and a luxurious feel, and that combined with beautiful colors. So, as we all know, and I don't know whether we have any Swede here, except of my colleagues obviously, but of course Swedes really love this open space and this bright light, and it's no wonder, I can tell you, not being a Swede, but having lived in Sweden with these really dark winters, you appreciate the sun coming out, and that is what you experience when you sit in a V90. You open the glass, the panorama roof, and then you have light, and you have light materials, beautifully sculptured in a way, so it really delivers on its beauty and its materials, and it's unique. It's so much around fit, finish and tender loving care. We're so proud of it, and you feel the spaciousness inside of the cabin, but also in the trunk areas. And the two really nice, beautiful examples I would want to show is, all our connectivity and touchscreen, which frees up and makes it so much cleaner and clearer, and this walnut, so much open structured wood, and our beautiful, unique seats, sculptured as slim as they can be, with all safety features and comfort attributes in different versions, colors, materials, leather, fabrics, highly designed towards the experience of Scandinavian design combined with safety. So S90 obviously on the outside also very much benefiting from the modular and very scalable architecture. I talked about this center of wheel, ball of foot, or wheel to dash difference. That's the definition of premiumness around that. You can play around with all the other proportions. And it helped Thomas and his team to put another design language which follows the 90 scheme, but goes into a bit further details. Starting, of course, with Thor's hammer being that overarching design inside of the lamps, but also using the new iron mark and the concave grille that actually reflects the heritage of the old P1800 coupe. And if you look at this overall, it is so much about solidity, confidence, and a feel of being sculptured from a solid block of steel. It's really carved out of there. And one of the key points of the exterior design is that interlocking nature of the graphics, the split lines, the panels and the lamps. And I talked about the V90 panorama roof already. It's huge. If you open the sunshade, you know, it's really a lot of light and brightness inside of the vehicle, and you can open it and you almost have a cabriolet feeling in a V90. So, but you know, I don't want to talk about design a lot because I'm not good at talking about design. If Thomas was here, he would probably entertain you much more on that. But you will have your entertainment when you see the cars, and I think that's a much better experience than me, the engineers, talking about beauty. So, summing up, S&V90 have a lot to offer in this segment. We have created a truly premium alternative for our customers, and that is really something distinctive and something very, very different. We do things differently at Volvo. We always have and we always will, and the S&V90 are further proof of this. They are proof of a new way of thinking and a new approach to delivering progressive luxury experience in premium cars. Now, if you have any immediate questions, I'm ready to answer them. If not, I will just talk a little bit about the tour you're going to take, but first, any questions, please?
Front-wheel drive, you're going with this engine D4, D5, and another one. Front-wheel drive.
Front-wheel drive, D4, D5, and Michael, T5? D5, yes. Any other further questions?